We're going to pull up some film and go through it with Coach McGuff. This is towards the beginning of the Michigan at Ohio State game. And the question that I wanted to have was, I paused it and almost all the girls are looking over at you. My question was, how much do you call and when do they look over? Because as I watch more film, it's not like they're doing this every time down the floor.
Yeah, definitely on misses, we're trying to go as fast as we can. And we're going to try to get a layup, an open three, or flow into our 5-out offense. And typically we do like a lot of stagger or what we call a single away screen in off of misses. And I really want them to kind of push and put pressure on the defense and just play out of those actions rather than me call something. On most makes, I will call something. And so make miss, it's a little bit different.
So they're looking over here.
Yeah. Yeah. So this was a zone set. So that was just a specific zone action against, and Michigan played a little bit of zone early on. They the first time we had played them at their place, they played primarily zone. We didn't play real well against it. So they started out in it and got out of it later.
The question that I always get is, what changes for a concept-based team when a team goes zone?
Yeah, it's sort of similar to us. We have, once again, some families of plays where we have specific kind of set plays. We also, and then they all flow into kind of like our motion offense versus zone, which we call rover. And it's just really spacing with two guards on a wing, two what we call rovers in and out of the middle who kind of play off of each other, and then a post player who plays along the baseline and ducks in.
All right, second clip here.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that was a sort of a reverse stagger into a zoom where you could see the initial action. We're just trying to create space coming out of the corner and try to turn the corner and drive it, but we didn't get it. And so after that, they just kind of flowed into like our play after the play, which is sort of dribble drive. See right here when they throw it to the elbow, and I think that's, yeah, JC. This is a specific play for JC to try to turn the corner. Now, the one thing I would tell you, she should be dead in the corner because sometimes our players will kill our own spacing by just being too impatient, cutting too early, because we want the person with the ball at the elbow to dribble at JC after she gets two screens and create a lot of space to try to turn the corner. And then whoever that other Taylor Theory should also be dead in the corner opposite. So our spacing is not exactly where it should have been there.
It started. You mentioned these, but I want coaches to catch this because I've felt the same way running this kind of offense based off of your team, based off of, I think, sometimes just what you like to run as well. But do you have any favorite actions? This one started with the stagger. Do you rely more heavily on certain things, whether that is a zoom or stagger, whatever, than others?
We do a lot of stagger stuff. That's been really good to us. We do a lot of stagger, and our kids do. We work on this a lot, making the reads off the stagger. You know, like they can reject the screen if they're playing them very closely early on. And I think the stagger has probably been the one action that's been best to us.
And you reject it and then you go back to a single, I'm assuming. So
on a reject, we turn around and we do a ball screen. We can single curl, then pin down. We double curl. And a lot of times the reason why, if we reject it, that we turn around and ball screen is because all the other actions get the person in the middle of the floor open. But if you reject it, they can be there denying the post player. So we just turn around and ball screen.
I paused it here on purpose, something that for whatever reason I noticed this year more than other years. We rank our shots like 3, 5, 7s, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear what you do as far as shot selection goes. But what I noticed is that when somebody is not spaced appropriately where they're supposed to be, which is what you just said, kind of where we're at right now, and then they also don't catch the ball ready to shoot, you end up missing one of those higher number shots, and inevitably it led to a worse shot later in the possession.
Correct. Yes. So right there. Yeah. We would have, like, if Taylor Theory's at the 3-point line and she catches it there, that's a great shot for her and for us. and she should shoot it. And it's like her specifically, she's a great kid and a really talented player. We're on her to be a little more assertive on the offensive end. So when we watch film, that's exactly what I would point out to her is like, hey, Taylor, you first of all, if you're standing in the three or in the corner at the 3-point line where you're supposed to be, you're going to get a catch and shoot three uncontested, which is a high percentage shot for her. And because you're not there and you don't take that shot, we end up with a worse shot late in the shot clock.
It seems to almost just reset the defense, and then you're kind of having to go uphill again the rest of the possession.
Yeah, now you're playing against the shot clock and all that, and you end up with a worse shot for sure.
All right, this one's at the end of a half. Do you call plays towards the end if it's not a miss, push, that kind of thing? Do you like to finish with a set call?
Yes, just I like to control the action to make sure we, once again, don't shoot it too early and all that type of stuff.
How are you going at just like 10 or what do you like?
Yeah, depending on the action. Yes.
I picked this one because I really like it. Can you talk about what you're trying to do as far as creating, exploiting space, and moving the defense?
Yep. That's basically a pistol action, what we would call a keep, and then a ball screen. And then you'll notice on the other side, we have what we call a 45 cut to create that big gap for JC to drive it in. So yeah, I would be calling, pistol keep 45 cut. So it's a keep, it's a ball screen, and then you can see our 4-player make that 45 cut, and there's so much space to play in.
And then the weak side girl lifts behind the action, and now you get the wide open shot.
She lifts behind the action. JC makes a great read.
This is one that I noticed from several games, so you can talk about how you use it, and then Stagger here again.
Stagger, what we call a flip. JC turns the corner. Rebecca reads, and they're kind of like in drop coverage. Mm-hmm. And so when Rebecca sees drop coverage, she's going to pop. If they're out there hedging aggressively, she's probably going to roll. Mm-hmm. But this is what we call stagger flip. And then Rebecca has the opportunity to read how the defense is guarding the ball screen after we flip it back to the point guard.
How do you practice that with the bigs to improve their ability to read that ball screen coverage?
We get our practice guys out there and we come off ball screens, and sometimes we hedge, sometimes we plug, sometimes we drop, and we just make them read those actions and make our guards kind of read where they're popping or rolling to.
She is also one of those moving targets that could have rolled if the defender had flat hedged or jumped.
Something, yes, whatever. Correct. Yep.
Great. Okay. All right. Last one here. This is one of those early games, and this was more of the 5-out that I wanted you to talk through.
So what we're working on here is we're trying to put JC in a situation where, and Rebecca's a good passer, when she sets this screen for our 4-player Taylor Theory, basically it's the screen on JC, and then we're going to reverse. It's the screen. The initial screen is really just to get Rebecca, our 5-player, open. Now at this point, when JC sets this up screen, Rebecca's read is if Taylor is open, you throw it obviously for a shot or a layup. And what we're trying to do is get JC's person have to make a decision. If they're going to show on the screen to not give up this pass to our 4-player, then they're going to be trailing, because what Rebecca would do would be a handoff behind the screen with JC's person trailing her because she helped on that screen. If they don't help, we get a layup on this quite a bit because they're afraid to help off JC. Then Rebecca throws it there, and Taylor Theory should be attacking the basket, basically.
Basically making the defense decide what they want to guard. And
Correct.
You either get a layup with a wide open lane, or I'm guessing the girl who has the ball right now, her defender helps over and you pitch to the corner, or you create a long closeout for JC.
Correct. That's right.